Hi.
Good morning, KWPR. How's everybody doing?
Good morning.
Oh, I need to turn up my volume. I couldn't hear. I could see Megan's lips moving, but I couldn't hear.
Good morning.
How are you, Megan? Hi, Lauren. Looks like Melanie's joining us. Fitz 11 Pro. I'm guessing that's either Clayton or Lisa. Good morning. Probably
Good
have
morning.
Hi, guys. We'll probably
Hi.
have a few more hop on here. I hope everybody had a great 4th. It was nice just to kind of unplug and spend time with family. I don't know about you guys, but
Your house looked awesome, Erin.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We have a little fun with the 4th, having a Marine.
Just a little.
We tend to be pretty patriotic.
The flag looks great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Reggie's super jealous.
Of what?
Reggie is super jealous about the flag.
Well, tell him to contact Steve. There were a couple people who wanted to know where he got it, and I just haven't had the time yet to go back in the comments and post it, but I will. Because he searched, high and low, the right one. So, all right. We'll go ahead and get things kicked off for those of you who, hi, Melissa, how are you? Oh, it's good to see your smiling face. All right, so for those of you who aren't aware, they have recently announced that Mega Camp this year is not going to be held in Austin like it normally is every August. It's going to be online. So that will be interesting and new for all of us. As a lot of you know, because some of you participated in it, Bold was online. Lisa, was that back in, it was June. Was it June? No, it was May.
It was May, actually. Mm-hmm.
It was before we all came back to the office. So good morning, Aruna. Hi, JD. It's nice to see you guys on here. So Bold, they did a pivot and it went online. Good morning, Karen. And it looks like they're going to be doing the same with Mega Camp. Just with the uncertainties that are still happening around the world, I think Keller Williams is taking the stance of, better to be or err on the side of safety of everyone, right? I heard something on the news today. They're, from Delta, they're taking extra precautions and all that good stuff. And I think people are starting to get back to feeling a little bit more comfortable hopping on a plane. But, I'm probably not willing to hop on a plane come August to travel to Austin for Mega Camp. And I love Mega Camp. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Mega Camp, our headquarters is located in Austin, Texas. And every August, September, it used to be September, they kind of switched it back to August. You can travel to Austin if you choose to partake in Mega Camp. And it lasts about 3 days, and it's an opportunity for folks from across the world, not just the country, to fly to Austin and take part in I think it's a 3-day convention. We'll get the dates. They haven't shared all the details yet as to how that's going to play out. However, for those of you who haven't wanted to, invest in the expense of a plane ticket, and a hotel, this is a wonderful opportunity if you've never attended Mega Camp before to be able to participate in it. So you're going to hear us continue to talk about that. You will be privy to details as we become privy to them and share them. So just know that that's coming down the pike. Any questions on that at all? Okay, awesome.
There are dates. We do have dates. So it's from the 15th, and that just came out. So if you guys want to mark your calendars, it's a Wednesday through Friday.
Okay, so, and that was, what were the dates, Lisa? You broke up just a little bit.
Oh, September 15th through the 17th.
Okay, awesome.
That's a Wednesday through Friday. And if you go to the closed Facebook group and click on the link that Erin posted about Mega Camp, Erin, you put that on your page. Did you share it to the KW Premier page? I think you did.
I think so. Has it been, that's been a while, right, or no?
Yeah, maybe we'll repost it. But if you click on that, you can sign up to get updates as quickly as they become available. So at this point, that's all, I've done is just sign up to get updates. So you can do that as well.
Awesome. So it's in September. I think I said August. They kind of switch back and forth sometimes. So September 15th through the 17th. So mark that on your calendars, guys. You won't regret taking the time out of your schedule to, attend that. Thanks, Lisa. All right, so bucket fills, you guys know that this is the time that we take in the team meeting to, give shout out to other people in the office, agents, staff, family, anyone in your life who you feel like you want to recognize. So while you guys are thinking about whose bucket you might want to fill, and it's, voluntary, just shout it out, or you can also type it in the chat, and we'll try and monitor that and share it. We had a very busy June. And we'll get to that in a minute when we welcome some, new faces, but we onboarded 13 new agents in the month of June, which, guys, is a pretty incredible number. And I want to fill the buckets. I wish Katie was on here and Christina was on here too. Lisa is. These ladies and Cody, in Winona, Alaska, I knew that number, but I didn't feel that number because they have got things down to such a science and so systematized that I'm just so grateful for the team that we have in place right now to be able to handle that kind of volume very seamlessly. So that's where my skills going today. Anybody else have any? Hi, Stella. Looks like no. Okay. No more bucket fills. Family, agents.
I'll say something.
Okay, thanks, Lauren.
Even being in extremely stressful situations, I am grateful for not only my family and my husband for busting his butt to get our renovation done, but also my coworkers, y'all, that I can call, like Megan or whoever, if I'm having an issue or just a concern or how to deal with something. So thank you for being your wonderful self.
Aw, awesome. And we do have, this is the time of year normally when a lot of people are taking vacation. And I think people are still doing that. They're just doing it in a different way. Maybe not everyone's hopping on a plane. Some people are, and that's okay too. But this is a time of year where we cover down for one another, right? Like if we're going to be gone or out of town. And I had an agent reach out to me yesterday and said, we're going to be on vacation. Like, who should we call, for backup? And I gave her a couple names, and, the first one they called said, yeah, absolutely, I'll help you out. So I think that's a part of our amazing culture that we have here, is that you guys are willing to help one another out. And, I know that that's returned at some point in time. So to your point, Lauren, thanks for being team players and helping one another out. Anybody else before we move on? Okay, moving on. All right, so you guys will likely see several new faces either in the office or on the closed Facebook group. Devin Littlefield, I don't think she's on today, but she is a little Spitfire that just joined us. She comes from a background in property management, and she joined us in the month of June. She's someone who will be looking for open house opportunities. So if you guys have any, be sure and give her a shout. And then Andy North, he is an agent with us who is also duly licensed in Florida. So if you guys ever have any leads or referrals that you want to send to Florida, it's nice sometimes to keep them in-house, so to speak, if you can. Andy is licensed in both Minnesota and Florida, so feel free to reach out to him. All right, Jeremy Winter, he may be a familiar face to some of us, as well as Bob Uelling. They were both agents with us previously. Jeremy has recently got back into real estate and rejoined us, and Bob has moved his business back to us as well. So if you happen to see those gentlemen, please, make sure and say hello and welcome them also. All right, and we've had a couple of new cappers since our last team meeting. So I'm always excited when we have cappers, because y'all know what that means. You're then keeping 100% of your commission for the rest of your calendar year. But I get especially excited when people cap for the first time who haven't experienced that yet. And both Riley Brennan and Jamie Ohm have capped with us for the first time. So round of applause for both of those gentlemen for capping. Whoop, whoop. That's awesome. It's amazing. All right, and then Lisa, I'm going to let you talk about the coming soons. And if any of you guys on today are on this list, feel free to, give a shout out with regard to details when Lisa brings up your buyer want or seller, buyer need or seller need.
There was a lot going on this month. I tried to go in and clean up what I thought maybe was older. So if I accidentally deleted something that is still relevant or that you still have that need, feel free to either put it back on here or talk about it at the end when we get through all these. So Lauren, you've got a few here. Why don't you start out with telling us about your coming soon?
Okay, I updated these this morning. I try to keep that fresh for you. Let's see. So I have the big commercial one. Those are 4 houses right behind Walgreens downtown by Barlow's. And those are commercial. So I partnered with Chad here on that. If you know of any investors interested, that will only be a withheld. It will not be hitting the market. And then that one on First Street is right next to my renovation house. So if you know of anyone that wants to be my neighbor, it is a super sweet house. And another one in Hayfield on 5 acres. It's updated. I'll keep you posted.
All right, thanks, Lauren. Carrie, and I think the rest, actually, I don't think anybody else is on. So we'll just run through them quickly. So Carrie Brand, it looks like she's got one coming on July 16th, 4-2 split. I'm just gonna move mine over so I can see. 130,000, immaculate detached garage, new appliances, September 10th, close if possible. The Q's, they got something coming on 23rd and Half Street, 240,000, 5-bedroom, 2-bath split, attached 2-car garage, newer windows and doors, new carpet, fresh paint, fireplace in the lower level. For VIX, there's a whole bunch on here. So
Oh, Sarah, go.
if you've got something that may match one of those, please give Sarah a call. She's got one for 150, a townhouse. It looks like an Alton Ridge Court in Rochester, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, move-in ready. Also allows rentals. One for 195, 1017 4th Avenue Northwest in Rochester, 1.5 story, 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Has rental duplex certification, it looks like. Large detached garage. Then we're out to Wendy Lane, Southwest, 485 to 500. That's a 4-3 ranch, single family, lots of updates. Main floor living, private yard, maintenance-free deck, garage. I'm guessing that's not the garage square footage. I'm guessing that's the finished square footage of the home. Three-car garage there. And then one in Byron for 225, a 5-bedroom, 2-bath, 1958 with updated kitchen, family, north siding roof, single detached garage. So lots going on there with Sarah. And then late July, it looks like Megan has something here on Valley High Drive.
I can speak to that one.
Oh, Megan, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were on. Please go ahead.
Yeah, the one on Valley High from the post office, it's a row of 1.5 stories where they all have cute little yards and landscaping and are well taken care of. The this seller is updated. I'm like, everything in there is painted. Everything's been taken care of. He's updated the kitchen previously. Stainless steel appliances. It's in great shape. He had a little bit of work that I wanted him to do, which was basically replacing a storm door on the side, and then he had some flaking paint on the outside on the windowsills and stuff. So he scraped all that and painted that, and now he's just packing his stuff and moving out. So that should be up. The last time that he said he needed 3 weeks, and that was for sure over a week ago, if not 2 weeks ago. So
Awesome.
Some great price ranges there, you guys. I mean, really some price ranges where I know a lot of our buyers have been waiting in the weeds on. So if you've got somebody that might match some of these descriptions, make sure that they're as ready to go as they can be. So thanks, guys. We'll go to buyer needs. Let's see. Looks like we've got some ongoing needs. Lauren, I think you might be the only one that's on as far as all these needs here. So if you want to go ahead and talk about anything that you still have a buyer need for, otherwise I'll run through the rest.
Yep.
Yeah, the first one is what everybody else has for first-time buyers. The second one, they're pretty specific. So if anyone has a really neat Rambler or 2-story in that part of Rochester, they're pretty picky, but in a good way. They are dedicated to that area. So if you have something coming up over there, even if it's around 600,000, just make sure you let me know before you list it, please.
Awesome.
Thank you.
At least it does look like Aruna's on here.
Yeah, Aruna, why don't you go ahead and talk about your buyer need?
Hi, this is Aruna. I have some friends who are investors. They are looking for any apartments with 2 to 15 units, and they don't want it to be really old, maybe like built in 2000 maybe, so they don't want to go any older than 20 years.
Okay, awesome. Is their budget pretty open, Aruna?
The budget is pretty open.
Okay.
And they are either in Rochester or anywhere in the cities.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
Great.
Thank you.
Carrie Brand, it looks like she's got a couple of buyer needs. Rochester or Byron for the 550 range. Looks like they're looking for a townhome, 3+ bedrooms, 3-car garage, private backyard, no common wall. Another one for 400,000, Rochester, preferably southeast. Any style for at least 4 bedrooms, somewhat private backyard. Kelly DeMale's got a couple in Rochester, one for 125, one for 220. The one of 125 for Rochester is a lot, flat lot for slab on grade, needs to be 100 feet wide. The one for 220 Rochester and surrounding, 2-bed, 1-bath at least, would prefer a garage and private yard, not a ton of work needed. Sarah Vicks, it looks like she's got buyer need for the 450, 650 range, Rochester and surrounding communities, ranch style, at least 3-bed, at least 3-bath, newer updated with private yard, fence durability defense. Everybody wants a private yard. That would be nice. Anybody else have any buyer needs that aren't on here that they want to talk about or coming soon? Nope. Okay. Moving right along.
Moving right along.
I don't want to spend too much time on this because we talked about this last team meeting too, but again, with us onboarding some of the new agents, with some of those agents, possibly being on today, just wanted to give you a reminder about the core classes and that they're offered monthly here in the Market Center. And then just a few things we want to go over with the training calendar. So one thing that's not on here that's really exciting today at 1 o'clock, Gordon Simile, who's our regional tech trainer for the North Central region, will be jumping on with our agents within our Market Center. He's going to be doing some training, kind of connecting the MREA and Command, and then just doing like a Q&A and answering some questions that you guys might have. He's phenomenal. He is always on top of the changes that are coming with Command. He's just been a really great resource for the region, and he's been great in this role. So we're looking forward to that training. It's going to be that you'll use the same link to get onto that training. And again, it's today at 1 o'clock. So we hope to see you there. There is also, I think this is a live stream, Learn Command through the MREA from 1 to 2. It's going on today as well. Also later this week, we have Jake Ginger, who was our BOLD coach back in May, who a lot of you attended BOLD. He's going to be sharing the actual results of BOLD Pivot. So I think we're all really curious to see the numbers that came out of that first virtual BOLD. So he will be jumping on with us. Again, you'll use the same link to access. It's always the same for these trainings that come out of the Market Center. And that's going to be Thursday the 9th at 1:30. So he's going to be sharing those results with us. That's exciting. We've got a master faculty class also on Thursday, how to write a purchase agreement. So, and Nick Stagler will be teaching that class. So that is one of your core classes if you're a new agent or if you have not attended that class before, or you just want to attend that class. Chances are you'll get something out of it. And then of course, yeah.
I just wanted to point out, I've had a lot of newer agents calling me lately. Can you help me write a purchase agreement? How do I do this? I heard there's other offers on the table. Do we have to submit it today? And so I will kindly remind people that that's going to be a really important class for them to be going to. And I'm assuming that these classes are on Zoom.
Yep.
Yep. They are on Zoom. If there isn't a core class that's already on Zoom, we're in the process of getting those all recorded. I would say too, Lauren, if that agent is enrolled in the productivity coaching program, remind them that that is really where they should be going first and foremost for those questions. If it's an agent that's not enrolled in that program, they can certainly reach out to the broker. They can certainly reach out to Erin if she's available. But yes, continuing to remind them to attend those classes, to reach out to their coach or somebody in leadership or the broker for those questions. That's really where we want to point them back to. So appreciate you taking those calls and answering those questions. But we've got people in place to be fielding those questions as well. So thank you.
We so love you for being willing to answer those questions, Lauren, but we want you to be able to be freed up and focused on your business. So yes, we've got plenty of resources and should be pointing those folks in the right direction.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Lauren.
And then next week, we've got KWPR orientation with Katie on Monday. We've got a virtual career seminar on Tuesday, so we've got a couple of people signed up for that as well. If you have somebody that's interested in getting their license, that's typically where we like to start people out with and point them to first. It just gives them a basic idea of what they need to do to obtain their license, and also just some basic information about Keller Williams and what makes us different. So if you got anybody that would potentially benefit from that, please point them to that or let us know and we can get them, get you that link. Let me see.
Can I add to that real quick? Okay, so to Lisa's point, the virtual career seminar is a great place to send folks, and also, you can always direct them towards either me or Lisa. But I want to share, of the 13 agents that we brought on in the month of June, 9 folks in our office added people to their downline, and some of those 9 added more than one person to their downline. So, utilize those resources if you've got folks that you're in conversation with, and point them in that direction. We don't expect you guys to be out there doing, or having the conversations or doing any of the recruiting. I want you guys focused on your businesses, and building your businesses. So just know that we've got tools like the virtual career seminar that we can utilize in those instances.
Thanks, Erin. On the 15th on Wednesday, this may change a little bit. So originally we were planning on holding a conceal and carry class here in the Market Center from 9 to 2. Well, every day it seems like things are changing with COVID-19, and we're now kind of, starting to pull back a little bit and thinking that maybe that's not the most responsible thing for us to be doing, even though we can wear masks, even though we'll try our best to social distance. If we're running all of our other trainings here within the Market Center virtually, we want to make sure that we're being consistent. So that class, I believe, is still going to happen. Tim O'Connor is working with the instructor, his name is Dino, to figure out a different location, and hopefully we or Tim will be getting you more information on that coming hopefully sometime soon. So just know that that class, as far as it being held in the Market Center, is not happening anymore. So a couple of you reached out. I'm sorry?
Which one is that?
Oh, that's the conceal and carry class on the 15th from 9 to 2.
And then I also just wanted to point out, just for tidbit, Jamie and I were both able to go and get our conceal and carry over in, where was it, Millville? And it only took about an hour and a half. And I think it was $125. Yep. So if anyone is interested in, going on their own, maybe they don't want to be in a full event course or whatever, or maybe they just don't have as much time. That was, we learned a lot, and it was really good.
He's been doing it for years.
And he's been doing it for a really long time.
Yeah, Black Diamond Armory also is Jerry Fossum out of Stortville, and he does the class online. So you can do that part of it through recorded. It's he has some that are recorded, and then he has some that are like just Zoom meetings, and then obviously you go to the range to do your practice shoot.
Are there any Wisconsin classes?
I would say to check in with your local armory, shooting places, gun places, and just find out who has availability, how much it costs, and how long the classes are, and check their credentials.
Or maybe some of the online components, like Megan said, there's one online. I wonder if they might service, you know, if you're in Wisconsin, if you might be able to do the online version as well.
They did
Right.
warn me at the one that I went to that some of the online courses actually don't provide the full conceal and carry certificate. Like it doesn't, some of them. So just be cognizant of which one you sign up for.
Oh, okay. And then the Minnesota certification qualifies for Minnesota and Florida, and that's it?
I don't know. Does anybody know the answer to that?
Ours was for, I want to
It's
say like
wherever-
5 states.
Yeah.
I can answer it. I can answer it. Yes, it does. It does. It qualifies for both Florida and Minnesota. It's just that you have to know that when you turn in your Minnesota, whenever you turn in your form, you have to actually go to the local sheriff's department to turn that in, or police authority. And so you have to turn that in Florida. But yes, it does cover it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Gotcha. Are there certain certifications that qualify for more states than not, or is it all just like a across the board thing?
The Minnesota one that we go through, it actually covers 34 states. So there's a
Oh, nice.
grandfather clause that gets you into the other states, but you carry an actual conceal and carry for Florida and an actual conceal and carry card for Minnesota. But because
Okay.
we have the same rules as a lot of states, it covers those states also.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. Good to know. Thanks, Deb. Yeah, obviously there's multiple places you can go to get that conceal and carry. Thank you guys so much for all that information and just, you know, making sure that you're being cognizant and doing your due diligence on making sure that you're getting the right certification and doing your research. So,
Thank you.
all right, Thursday the 16th, we've got goal setting and budgets with Katie. That's a great class if you're a new agent, and that's coming up. And you've done your regular orientation, that's probably next on your list. So make sure you attend that one if you can. So we've got buyer forms with Kelly DeMail on the 16th as well. And then we've got Look Tax Force on the 17th.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa.
Okay, so tech tips. So this is super exciting for those of you that have your clients or customers set up in Smart Plans in Command, or you don't know what Smart Plans is, and maybe you want to get more into it. Maybe you want to, you know, start creating your own custom Smart Plans. This is kind of a long video, so I'm only going to play a few minutes of it. This is from Nick Baldwin, but it's a super exciting announcement, and so we'll get it started here.
Of how to do a mail merge with Google Sheets and Gmail.
After
I
the
have
ad.
my spreadsheet here with a column of email address. What is going on, everyone? Nick Baldwin here, Regional Tech Trainer for the Michigan Northern Ohio region of Keller Williams. And I want to show you guys a little sneak peek of something super cool that's coming down the pipe in Command. Smart Plan Libraries is getting a complete overhaul, and it's going to be super amazing and collaborative. Let's jump right in so I can show you what we got going on. In the near future, soon, very soon, once a regional tech trainer gets their hands on a certain feature, it's soon to be released to all agents. And in this instance, what's going to happen is your Smart Plan library is going to get a whole lot more robust. Let's just jump into libraries here and take a look. If I can do that. There we go. All right. Jump into the libraries. Let's let this load up here. Been having some wonky internet connections today, guys. I don't know what is going on. Okay, cool. So at the top, you're going to see, you know, all the basic stuff that KW creates for you. Bi-weekly neighborhood nurtures, quick neighborhood call plan, et cetera, et cetera. Happy birthday, open house follow-up. But then we get down even further to top rated, right? This is going to be where agents can submit smart plans to the library for other agents to then add to their library and use in their business. So we see one from Marty Miller, we've got Mike Hillary, another from Marty Miller, and we have a whole bunch of us regional technology trainers testing this out and sharing smart plans for one another. And what's going to happen is when this gets released to all of you, you'll be able to grab any of these for any, you know, type of occasion. situation, whether it's a Facebook lead, whether it's sphere of influence, open house follow-up, whatever. So let me show you how this works. So if you want to find something specific, you go to filter, and then you can look for the.
Okay, so the rest of that video really is just showing you that you can search by certain things. So you can type in, maybe Facebook, or you can type in nurture or whatever. So you can filter by certain types of plans that you're looking for. This is so cool. This is such a game changer, I feel like, because I know a lot of you are interested in smart plans, and a lot of you want to be running different custom smart plans, but it takes a lot of setup to do that, right? I mean, it takes some time to set it up, and we don't all have that time. So this is great. It's just agents within the Keller Williams family that want to share their smart plans, that want to be able to have you guys access them at no charge, and that you can just plug and play into your own marketing strategy. So we'll let you know as soon as that comes out. As you know, sometimes with some of these big rollouts or these big updates, or when they're adding new features, there are some bugs to work out in the beginning. So we just ask that you be a little bit patient, but we're super excited about that and just wanted to share that with you guys.
Thanks, Lisa. Any questions on that at all from anyone? I would highly recommend, if you can make today work at 1 o'clock with Gordon. Oftentimes we find that he's going to have information that we're not even privy to yet. So if you're wanting to stay on top of the cutting edge of what's happening with Command and our technology, I would be sure to hop on today at 1 o'clock.
Erin, I left the slide in here. Did you want
to? So we normally will do a market update, guys, but with Katie being out of the office for a couple days, she took a couple well-deserved days for herself. We had some pretty incredible numbers in June that you guys put up, and we're super excited to share those with you. But I think what we're going to do is wait until the next team meeting to do that. The multi-year trends reports aren't even out yet. And so while we normally will give you some sort of market update, we're going to wait until the next team meeting to do that. So we can go ahead and keep moving, Lisa.
Record breaking, you guys.
Not just record breaking, like record crushing. You guys are killing it. Killing it. So I don't think Kelly's on here, but we put this up here from time to time just as a reminder, for those of you who are in the coaching program, for those of you who aren't in the coaching program, the productivity coaching program isn't just for our brand new agents. If you're an agent in the market center and you feel like you need an injection in your business, maybe COVID did a number on you, or you had some other life event happen and are just finding that maybe you got off track and you can't quite figure out how to get back on track. You can always schedule a one-on-one with me. I'm always happy to meet with anyone. But there is also the productivity coaching program that is available to anyone who would like to partake in it. So they're getting some really awesome traction. I can't remember how many closings Katie said they had in the month of June. And again, maybe we'll share that stat at the next team meeting. But sitting down with Kelly and having a conversation doesn't cost you anything but your time. So if that's something that somewhat appeals to you, really appeals to you, then let Lisa know or let Kelly know, and we'll get you on her calendar. Anything you want to add to that, Lisa?
This stat is a few days old. I'm sure there's probably been, multiple closings since then. But so far to date, within the PC program, so the agents in that program have made a total of $76,000 in gross commission and sold over $2.6 million in sales volume.
That's awesome.
We just want to let you know that, it really is gaining traction. And as Erin said, and the agents in this program really are starting to get up into production. That's really exciting.
Yeah, it's gaining momentum. All right, what do we have next here? Sometimes I'm halftime. Okay, so this is my time to chat a little bit. Who can believe that we're in the month of July already? Like, honestly, it just, I feel like 2020 is just blowing right by all of us. So it always hits me end of June, beginning of July, when I realize that we're already halfway through the year. So I like to, look at things from that perspective. Obviously, we're a company of watching our numbers, knowing our numbers, reporting our numbers. I report my numbers every day, and then I report it at the end of the week, and then obviously I have to report them once a month. So what I have found for myself is in the beginning, I hated it, right? I like the autonomy. I've been in real estate for 18 years, and I like the autonomy of being a real estate agent and an independent contractor, and not having to report to anyone. However, as much as I fought that in the beginning, I am now seeing the results of knowing what my numbers are at all times. Hi, Lisa. Of knowing what my numbers are at all times. It's very powerful to know exactly where you're at any given moment in the year and how you're doing in correlation to your goals. So I'm curious, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, so it's really for anyone who wishes to share. How are you guys feeling about 2020? We obviously have had some pretty major events that have happened, and there's this talk of resurgence that is happening in some areas right now. So I've seen some of our agents just take off like wildfire during this time. So I don't know what the magic sauce is, so to speak. I don't know if Lauren's still on here. She's somebody that I look at as just I don't know if she's eating an extra serving of Wheaties every morning, and I get that it's a collective effort. She's got a team, and Jamie's a large part of that team as well. So I'm curious to hear how you guys are feeling about 2020. I would love to hear some of your wins so far for 2020, and let's talk about some of the challenges. So for those of you who might be feeling a little defeated, if you're willing to be vulnerable, how can we help you get back on track? What are some things that we could be doing collectively in order to do that? So I'm going to open it up. We'll see who's the brave soul to speak first. And if not, I'll just keep talking until your guys' eyes glass over.
You want me to talk?
Hop in.
All right. So yeah, Jamie and I started working together in March, right as the pandemic hit, and just doubled down on everything that we learned in Ignite and that I learned in Bold last fall. Making yourself really comfortable with being uncomfortable was kind of the biggest thing for me. And going out there and getting after it, not really caring what people say. Like, you're just going to go and crush it. And you might not get every listing. You might not get every buyer. Transactions might fall apart, but you just need to keep that tenacity up to, I don't know. It's just, for me, it was a big mindset shift. And having people around me to keep me accountable has helped essentially double production.
Lauren, I have a question for you. Has any of that been painful? Right? So I think that's a lot of people's fear, right? We don't want to do, it's Gary Keller saying, I say it over and over, it's simple, not easy. The activities that we need to do in order to find business, conduct business, hit your goals, it's really simple. It's not rocket science, guys. It really isn't. But I think what a lot of people pull back from or are in fear of is that pain. And you just have to get okay with knowing that with growth and with success, it doesn't come without some sort of pain. But it's not debilitating. It's not life-changing. It's just something that you have to push through and work through, whether that's having a coach or a mentor or a sounding board, or if that's just kind of naturally in your DNA to just have the grit to get through it. So
Yeah.
what would you say has been the most painful for you, Lauren?
Well, we started with a coach, a mega coach, not through KW, but just a coach. And that was really at the cusp of the pandemic starting. And, holding yourself accountable, like just, there was that. And then also the other thing Jamie was really pushing me was to delegate. Lauren, you're working an assembly line and there's 5 stops on the assembly line and you're running your ass to each one of them over and over and over and over and over. So how can your production continue to go up if you're, killing yourself to get all that done. Well, if you have people that you can work with that you trust, yeah, you're gonna have to pay them, but if your production is going up, that should cover those expenses, right? So it's not that you need to go and spend a whole bunch of money doing a whole bunch of different stuff, but maybe focus on one. Maybe your admin can be pulling that paperwork time away from you so that you can go and have more appointments. Just kind of getting in that mindset of it's okay to delegate and you don't have to do it all yourself was, I mean, I've preached that to other people, but it's a little bit harder to let go, especially when you're used to doing it all. So I think that was really important. And then Melissa Adams-Goyle is on the team too now. So just working collaboratively to make sure, you know, you're doing what is most worth your time.
Absolutely. And I think you brought up an important part that I just kind of want to shed a little bit more light on. You know, growing for growth's sake is not the way to go. It's being smart as you start to add people. You know, and the first person you should be adding to your team is an admin, right? And so you want to make sure that you're being purposeful. And the adage that we use at Keller Williams is slow to hire, quick to fire, right? So take your time when you're looking to make sure that they're the right fit. And if you get to a point to where you realize that they're not, you know, you might need to have that tough conversation and help them self-discover that, you know, maybe there's a better place for them. So who else? I'd love to hear from some other folks too. Challenges, wins, how are you doing in relation to your goals? Okay,
this is JD.
Good. Hi, JD. Thanks for hopping in.
Yeah, I would have to say, so real quick, some of my wins is that I am adding, or we have added another house to our renovation process during the pandemic. I also gained a couple clients that have had positive responses with selling their house and then buying. So it's out there, and that's the exciting part. Some of my hiccups, if you will, is that with my investment business, and when there are hurdles and things that come up, because they do, and that's just normal and reasonable to know about, but then I'm getting pulled harder. So I've had to really, and I'm in the process of doing that, of just kind of evaluating what am I looking for, what is it that my husband and I, where are we wanting to go? And we do have another business that we're running, and that one's being challenging as well, because why not? So it's just putting one step in front of the other, getting up every morning and going, well, this is another beautiful day, and working towards that. It doesn't mean that I won't have those moments where I'm like, no, I'm going to sit in the corner right now and cry, but I turn around and you know, and thankfully too, it's the people that surround you, because they rub your back, and then they go, okay, now how can I help you get off the floor? So it's surrounding, it's your people that you have around you too, with the mindset, and share that kind of experience as well as you do.
100%. Thanks, JD, for sharing. I'd like to speak a little bit to your environment, right? So there's that adage, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So, you know, if you're finding yourself sort of in that scarcity mindset or that victim mentality ever, and we all find ourselves there, right? We all do. I find myself there several times a year. But I also talk about it enough to where if I don't recognize it in myself right away, I recognize it pretty quickly. And that's when I realize I need to maybe look at who I've been, you know, surrounding myself with, and making sure that I'm placing myself in environments that are going to lift me up, right? Instead of, keep me in that spot of negativity. So this is a tough business. We all get hit with that between the eyes, at some point. Most of us a few times throughout the year. So my best piece of advice with regard to that is just make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded and have similar goals, or people that you aspire to be like or do the volume of business, and whatnot. So mindset is probably one of the most important things. If not, I would actually say it's probably the most important thing in this business, is making sure that you've got the right mindset, which leads us into, Lisa, did we talk about the next round of Bold that's going to be coming? And is that starting in August or is it July? Maybe Jake's going to speak to that when he talks to us.
Actually, I think it's starting this week. Let me try to get some more information on that, and I will email it out and put it in the closed Facebook group as well. But I thought I saw something about it starting this week.
Okay. So we have a lot of new agents. There were a lot of you guys that took it in May, which was amazing. And we have a lot of new agents that might be interested in, signing up for Bold and taking it. It's a different experience for sure online. It's also a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the cost that it normally is. So that's something that you guys might want to consider as well. What else? Anything else you guys want to chat about? What do you see as your biggest challenge right now? You guys don't have any challenges, huh? What do you see as your biggest challenge right now?
Hi, I'll speak to that.
Awesome. Who's that?
So this is Lisa Fitzpatrick, and I am brand new.
Yes, thank you.
Hi. So yeah, I think our biggest challenge right now is just kind of forging through the whole fire hose thing. In addition to running our existing cleaning company. So I think it's, we're kind of having to challenge ourselves on energy levels, and making sure we're just kind of sticking with it and not getting too bogged down, I guess, by like squirrels, like ADHD squirrels everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's been our biggest challenge. Sorry, I just was running around, so I'm kind of out of breath. But yeah, so I think if anybody has any tips for that, or anybody else that's, running concurrent businesses, that would be wonderful.
So for those of you who have not met Lisa and her husband, Clayton, they're in our, where are you exactly? Where are you guys opting out of, Lisa?
We are in Onalaska, Wisconsin. So like right now we're kind of trying to forge through like branding and, getting like stickering redone at the office and that kind of thing. And I still have to take my test on the 17th. With COVID, tests are kind of pushed out quite a bit. So yeah, just kind of like getting everything settled and kind of the hectic nature of starting something like this brand new.
Yeah, and trying to prioritize like what is the most important or what can wait. So for the experienced agents that are on here, and I'm not saying like you have to have been in the business for years, but everyone on here has been new at one time. What would your best piece of advice be for Lisa getting started and what she should be focusing on? I know if I could go back, to being a brand new agent, there's some things that I would do differently, but I would love it if you guys would just impart some wisdom on her, if you wouldn't mind, as to, what's your best piece of advice that you'd give her as far as what to focus on right now.
I would say don't wait until you have everything just so. Some people think, oh, my website has to be done. All of my signs have to be done. I have to have all of this before I can tell somebody what I'm doing or where I am. Business cards are great, but honestly, there are people that use temp cards that they can print. They don't take very long to get once you order them. That's one of the main things you need. My website hasn't been up to date for I don't know how long, and people don't even tell me that it's not up to date, which means people aren't even looking at it. I think the main thing is just jump in there and just start creating the conversations and telling people this is what I'm doing and that you're available.
Megan, that is such good advice. And to your point, I think a lot of the newer agents get caught up on, well, I can't go on a listing appointment yet because I don't have a fancy listing presentation created, or I can't talk to a buyer yet because I'm not even entirely sure how to fill out the forms properly, right? And so that will paralyze them into even initiating the conversation. So what I like to tell people is just go out and find the business, bring it back to us, and let leadership help you. We will get you what you need, right? And you can work on the listing presentation. You can work on the buyer presentation along the way. But don't, Megan's point, let that, paralyze you while you're working on things. What else? If you were to give a new agent just getting into the business a piece of advice on where to spend their focus, what would that be?
I would say that me personally, I would learn your documents, and I wouldn't wait for you to get that education after you find the person. I mean, I know you're going to need to go through it again and stuff, but don't wait to get that education until after you get your client, because you're going to be, even, I think, in my opinion, be a little bit more frazzled, because that's kind of what I did. I was like, okay, I need to be hands-on. I'm a hands-on learner. So going through the information seemed mute because I wasn't grasping it. But then when I had clients and I was going through the paperwork later again, I was frazzled. And it just made me frustrated. So I would just learn as much as you can and practice with the documents.
Great advice, JD. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else with either pieces of advice or how you're feeling about the year so far? We've got 6 months left of the year.
Well, I can talk about my year. My year started out great. And then, we were having meetings like, has anyone felt the coronavirus or a slowdown? And I didn't have a slowdown at all. I hit a wall. I mean, like, my stuff just stopped. And for me, all of my business comes from my sphere. And it's a lot of the conversations you create around you. So it's all for me, the rapport that I have with people. It's going out for coffee, it's going to lunch, it's going to happy hour, it's talking with people, meeting with people, stuff like that, networking things. So with all of those things, when they were shut down, I'm also the kind of person who the less I have to do, the less I do. So, I mean, like, my house should be spotless. It's not. I mean, I've got all the time in the world, so I'm the best procrastinator in the world. And now with Rochester just passed yesterday that you have to wear masks for all public indoors. And I think that's going to hurt, a lot of my friends who own the businesses that we're opening up more that are, I'm worried about them, but also for some of the people who are like, well, I'll only go if I don't have to wear a mask, and I'll only come meet with you if we can sit down and talk. That puts another damper on things for me and my business. So I need to find some motivation somewhere that isn't going to come from being around people, because that's where I get motivated, really.
As far as like a lead generation type activity, yeah. Megan?
For me, yeah, getting in the mode and the mood to work comes from working, for one, and then being around people and talking about what you did for the day and where you were. And, I've been showing houses up in Bloomington, which is that's something that I never thought I would do. And now I'm like, heck yeah, I've got all the time in the world, no problem. I'll take a whole day and go to Bloomington, no big deal. But
yeah, I mean, if you're the type of person who gets energy from others, I'm that way too. It can be a challenge for sure. Any pieces of advice for Megan on that from anybody? I have found that by making my calls on my drive in, every day and on my way home, and staying connected with people that way, as well as hopping on, Zooms. I mean, you could fill your whole day with the amount of Zooms that everybody's putting out right now. But I find those to be helpful, even though I can't be, I guess, belly to belly with someone and seeing them in person. It's still nice to have some sort of format like this. We're full on back to doing open houses. Megan, are you an open house person? Are you someone that normally does them, likes to do them, doesn't like to do them?
I hate them.
How do you really feel?
And funnily enough, when I first started, when Barb was still with Jim and still licensed, I mean, she would ask me to do a lot of their open houses. I did tons of them. I'll still do them for Kelly and Bruce. I did one, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, to help them out. But I thought that would be something where for me, it would be really good because I'm so good with the face-to-face.
Mm-hmm. I
don't get business from open houses. So even on my own listings, I have other people do open houses. So I have been doing a couple of them now just because I feel like I need to get in that work mode. And then it makes you go to work and then talk to people if they are at the open house. But it's not something that I have found has ever been my niche. Like I figured it would be before I got into business. I figured that would be amazing for me, and it's not.
That surprises me to hear that, because I would imagine that you would do very well at those as well, Megan. Do you feel like it's just hard to get into conversation and build rapport, or is it in the follow up? Or where do you think?
I mean, that's one thing. I'm just gonna throw his name out there, but Todd Whiting, when he first started, got a ton of business from open houses, and he did not follow up with anybody. It was the meetings, the people that came then. I do follow up. I ask people questions. I'll look up listings for them afterwards, et cetera, et cetera. I find more and more people who come to open houses actually tell you that they have an agent, tell you who the agent is that they're working with. So I don't know what it is. I'm certainly not the person who follows them around the house and says, work with me.
Right.
Usually I'm just talking about, hey, what brought you here? You guys just checking out the neighborhood or, whatever, conversations like that. No problem having conversations, just doesn't really get me anywhere.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to ponder that. I want to continue this conversation with you, because for those who don't know, I was sort of the open house queen when I first got into the business, and that's how I built our entire business. So Megan, I think that there's some things that maybe we can discover together that might change your outlook on open houses. We've got 2 minutes left. So anything else anyone is challenged with right now that maybe you want some input on as we're heading into the rest of the week? No. All right. I got a quiet crowd today, and that's okay.
I have a question.
Okay. I love it.
So with us getting started, Lisa and I, is there anything on a legal standpoint that we should be thinking about?
As far as are we talking forming entities like an LLC or a sub S or
yes, like that. So do we need to, I'm hearing an echo from Lisa's phone, sorry.
No worries.
Do we need to form an LLC or anything like that before we get started? As far as bank accounts and things like that. I'm just wondering if there's anything specific that I should be thinking about in that regard.
Yeah, I would say at some point in time, I don't think we formed our LLC until I was year 3 into the business. I'm not saying wait that long, but I wouldn't worry about going out and creating that tomorrow. I think that's something that you put on your to-do list. And as you start transacting, obviously there are going to be lots of benefits to having a sub S or an LLC from a tax perspective, and also too, just kind of from a shelter perspective. and things of that nature. So I would imagine you guys probably already have one formed for the business that you're in right now, Clayton.
Correct.
And did you have an attorney that helped you with that, or did you guys do it on your own?
We had a little bit of both. We started off on our own and then got an attorney.
Yeah, we did the same thing. So like we formed an LLC and now we're an LLC operating as a sub S. So I would speak with your accountant. I would speak with the attorney that you're already familiar with. Let them know what you're doing if you haven't already, and just take your cues from them. But I would say, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the most important item for you to take care of right now, it would be a 10.
Oh, okay.
But something that you guys are going to want to work toward eventually.
Got it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for hopping on. We're at 12:01, so I'm going to cut you loose for the rest of the day. Don't forget about Gordon's thing at 1 o'clock. And I, for goodness sakes, can't wait until we finally get back to normal. I'm hoping that comes in August where I can start seeing more of your smiling faces in person. So have a fantastic day, everybody.
Take care. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
You too. Thanks.
You too.